Thumbs up. Good morning, everyone. Today is the remote evidentiary hearing being conducted by the Department of Public Utilities in docket D.P.U. 2448. The petitioner is Park City Wind. My name is Connor Tarr. I'm the hearing officer in this proceeding. We are conducting this evidentiary hearing remotely using Zoom video conferencing. This hearing is being recorded and will be available for viewing on YouTube. Parties should be aware that the official transcript of the proceeding is being transcribed by the reporter appointed by the department for that purpose. I just want to confirm, Alan, everything, go ahead. Can't see Alan.
Yes.
Okay. All right. The stenographer is also participating remotely, although he is in the hearing room with two of my colleagues. He will transcribe everything said during this hearing. As we are relying on the internet or telephones to participate, we could experience some technical difficulties, such as sound from speakers, including potential background noise, video and audio issues, and potential delays. Therefore, it is imperative to speak slowly and clearly to allow a speaker to finish speaking before you begin speaking, and to pay attention to the video of the person speaking and my video. I will raise my hand as a signal on my video if I need to interrupt the person currently speaking to ask them to stop. It is also helpful if you mute your audio when you are not speaking to reduce any background noise. We appreciate everyone's cooperation in participating in this hearing. As you can see on your Zoom video stream, there are several other people from the department who are participating on your virtual bench today. I'll ask them to raise their hand in their Zoom window when I identify them as follows. Andrew Green, Director of the Siting Division. Joan Foster Evans, General Counsel of the Siting Division. Wayne Wong, Assistant Director of the Siting Division. Caleb Chang, Energy Analyst of the Siting Division, and Caleb Bookout, Intern with the Siting Division. The company's petition is seeking individual and comprehensive zoning exemptions from the operation of the zoning ordinance of the town of Barnstable, Massachusetts, referred to as the zoning petition. The purpose of zoning exemptions is for the construction and operation of an access road on an approximately 1 acre parcel located at 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road in the town of Barnstable, referred to as the parcel, to provide access to a substation to be located at 8 Shoot Flying Hill Road, referred to as the substation site. The Energy Facilities Siting Board, referred to as the Siting Board, previously approved the construction and operation of the substation as part of New England Wind 1 Connector by a final decision issued in EFSB 2001/D.P.U. 2050/2057 on December 15th, 2023, referred to as the EFSB approval. The zoning petition for the parcel seeks to obtain the same zoning exemptions for the 6 Shoot Flying Hill parcel that the Siting Board granted previously for the substation site. Pursuant to the hearing officer ruling on petitions to intervene and for limited participant status issued on September 20th, 2024, specifically Section 4, Scope of the D.P.U. 2448, these proceedings shall be limited to issues specific to the requested zoning exemptions in the zoning petition as they relate to the parcel. The scope of this proceeding does not include reconsideration of issues and impacts previously determined by the Siting Board to be mitigated or pertaining to the substation site. Next, I ask that counsel identify themselves for the record and state the name of the party for which they are appearing at this time. We'll first refer to the petitioners.
Good morning. This is Adam Kahn from the law firm Foley Hoag, representing Park City Wind.
Good morning, everyone. Zachary Gerson, also from the law firm Foley Hoag, and also representing Park City Wind.
And I'm Aaron Lang, also at Foley Hoag and also representing Park City Wind.
And now for the intervener, Town of Barnstable.
Good morning, everyone. Tom LaRosa for the Town of Barnstable.
Thank you, Mr. LaRosa. Are there any procedural matters that we need to discuss before we begin? We can discuss these matters off the record if you wish. I note that the company has provided a draft exhibit list dated November 12th, 2024. The company also provided the exhibit list from EFSB 2001, D.P.U 2056, 2057, as it has been incorporated into the record by reference. Are there any matters that would like to be discussed at this time? Seeing and hearing no response, we'll move on. I note that the Park City Wind's witnesses will be questioned as a panel. Next, I will ask each witness to introduce him or herself for the record and state their affiliation. So I'll turn it over to you, Aaron, or Mr. Lang, sorry.
No problem. So we have 3 witnesses today to present for questioning to the D.P.U. I can begin direct examination if that's what you're referring to, Hearing Officer Tarr.
No, I would just identify them and state their affiliation, and then I'll swear them in. Then we'll proceed forward with direct examination.
Perfect. So we have Patrick Johnson of Park City Wind LLC. We have Kenneth Fitzgerald at Stantec, and we have Holly Carlson Johnston at Epsilon Associates.
Thank you. I will now swear in the witnesses. Please raise your right hand so that I can see in the Zoom window and take yourself off mute. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be the whole truth?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Please let the record indicate the witnesses have been sworn. Mr. Lang, would you like to conduct direct examination of your witnesses?
I would, Hearing Officer. Thank you very much. I'll begin with Patrick Johnson. Mr. Johnson, could you please state your name, where you work, and your business address, please?
Sure. My name is Patrick Johnson. I work for Avangrid, as well as Park City Wind LLC. Business address is 125 High Street, Boston, Massachusetts.
And in what capacity do you work for Avangrid and Park City Wind LLC?
I'm the Director of Public Affairs for Avangrid's offshore wind projects.
Are you testifying on behalf of Park City Wind in this proceeding today?
I am, yes.
And did you participate in the preparation of Park City Wind's submissions in this proceeding, including the zoning petition, its attachments, and information request responses that identify you as a responsible witness?
I did.
And with respect to the information request responses that identify you as a responsible witness, were those prepared by you or under your supervision?
Yes.
Are there any changes to those materials that you wish to make at this time?
No.
Do you adopt those materials as your testimony in this proceeding?
I do.
Ms. Johnson, I'll go to you next. Please state your name, where you work, and your business address.
My name is Holly Carlson Johnston, and I work at Epsilon Associates, located at 3 Mill and Main Place, Suite 250 in Maynard, Massachusetts.
And in what capacity do you work for Epsilon Associates?
I am an associate.
Are you testifying on behalf of Park City Wind in this proceeding today?
I am.
And did you participate in the preparation of Park City Wind submissions in this proceeding, including the zoning petition, its attachments, and information request responses that identify you as a responsible witness?
Yes, I did.
And with respect to the information request responses that identify you as a responsible witness, were those prepared by you or under your supervision?
Yes.
And are there any changes to those materials that you wish to make at this time?
No, there are not.
Do you adopt those materials as your testimony in this proceeding?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Fitzgerald, can you please state your name, where you work, and your business address?
My name is Kenneth Fitzgerald. I work for Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. My business address is 50 Derby Street, Hingham, Massachusetts.
And in what capacity do you work for Stantec?
As a project director and senior principal.
Are you testifying on behalf of Park City Wind in this proceeding today?
Yes, I am.
And did you participate in the preparation of Park City Wind's submissions in this proceeding, including the zoning petition, its attachments, and information request responses that identify you as a responsible witness?
Yes, I did.
And with respect to the information request responses that identify you as a responsible witness, are those true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, they are.
Are there any changes to those materials that you wish to make at this time?
No.
Do you adopt those materials as your testimony in this proceeding?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. Hearing Officer Tarr, I submit the witnesses for examination.
Thank you, Mr. Lang. I will turn the floor over to Mr. Wong for department cross-examination. After D.P.U staff have had a chance to ask any questions, the intervener may ask questions if he chooses to do so. Then there will be an opportunity for redirect examination. Mr. Wong, are there any questions from technical staff in this matter?
Thanks, Mr. Tarr. We will defer to you for the current.
I'm sorry, I will just a second.
We will defer to you for the time being.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. There are a few questions that I have in this matter. First, and this question is addressed to the entire panel, has the town expressed any additional concerns that were not previously presented regarding the conditions and mitigation measures for the impacts of the parcel?
Not to my knowledge.
So there have been no additional concerns raised by the town?
Not to my knowledge.
At any point prior to the filing of the zoning petition, did the company make any request to the town for the variances?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. And now I'm going to be turning towards the specific zoning exemptions that were requested. Would the company please provide an explanation for the following zoning exemptions and how they pertain to the parcel and proposed access road? First, the use restriction in sections 240.13, 240.14, 240.7a, and 240.35f2, 3, 4.
Mr. Tarr, is there a page number or part of the zoning petition where you're reading that from?
This is the first reference citation. I can give you the EFSB approval reference section that was provided. This is in the table that was provided by the company in the original petition. I'm asking.
It may be helpful. I believe that these particular zoning provisions are referenced on page 17 and 18 of the zoning petition. And I would just flag for the bench, certainly the witnesses are available to respond to factual questions and can address the content of the petition in that respect. But some of the applicability of the zoning provisions may be better directed to perhaps council or in a different way.
And I addressed the entire panel, including council. So I'm just trying to determine. This is referencing page 17, block number 1, 2, and 3, or 17 and 18. The company provided a table indicating which use variances they were requesting. And I was trying to determine how they would specifically apply to the parcel themselves.
If it would be helpful, I can provide, a legal response. I don't intend to be testifying as a factual witness, but I can provide a legal response if that is what the bench would like.
I'll further qualify this to indicate this is also referencing, as this is how the variances were grouped as cited on page 4. The company had provided a list of individual zoning exemptions and had grouped them based on use, minimum yard dimensions, signage, anti-nuisance provisions, site plan, performance bond requirements, occupancy permits, and off-site parking. So I'm just trying to gauge whether or not these specific provisions are pertaining to the parcel or if there's some other legal reason for the request. So I'll open it up and have the company answer as they feel appropriate.
All right, so I will take a first attempt at that, but certainly the bench should redirect if they're looking for a different type of response. So the use restrictions apply in a general sense to what the parcel may be used for, what types of activities may occur on that parcel. Now, it is confusing because in Massachusetts, if you are using a parcel to access another parcel, the parcel that is being used for access purposes needs to be zoned consistent with the use on the other parcel. So even though there is not a proposal here.
There's a reverb between you and somebody else. Somebody needs to mute themselves.
I'm wondering if Alan needs to mute himself. I'm sorry, just because I think you're in the hearing room and the screen is, yeah, I think maybe if you do.
Please proceed.
So even though there is not a proposal here to put actual substation equipment on the parcel, 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road. 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road, the parcel is being used to access the adjacent parcel where the substation will be located. So under Massachusetts law, the zoning for the parcel, 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road, needs to be consistent with the uses that are occurring on the adjacent substation parcel at 8 Shoot Flying Hill Road.
Would it then be a fair characterization to indicate that the use restrictions that are being requested for the parcel are only for that legal purpose for access to the substation site and not for any specific use within the parcel itself? Or, yeah.
I think that distinction may be difficult to make. The exemptions are being requested so that the access across 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road can be used to access the adjacent parcel.
I guess the way that I'm trying to characterize it is I want to confirm the use restriction variance is not being requested for use on the parcel other than for access to the substation site. It is only being requested to mirror the substation site. There won't be an ongoing use on the parcel, only an access use.
The exemptions are being requested for the access use. There isn't an intent to be changing the use of 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road other than for access to the adjacent parcel. That will include the types of development on the 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road that are in the record, constructing an access road. Accompanying gates and that type of use.
And I do want to go through just all the requested variances just to confirm what they are, if they are subject to the parcel itself. Some of them may, some of them may not. If there's a similar response, I'd ask that you provide a similar legal response as far as the purpose. If it does specifically apply to the parcel, I'd ask that you provide and information or update as to how it applies specifically. So we're going to move next to the minimum yard dimensional restriction under sections 240.13 and 240.14. Does that apply specifically to the parcel, or is that for for access solely to the substation site?
So it is again being requested because in order to mirror the zoning on the 8 Shoot Flying Hill Road parcel.
And if you bear with me, we're just going to go one at a time. I understand that your response may be similar or may vary. So next, I know that there was some reference to signage that may be posted on the access road. So there's a request for signage prohibitions in Article 7, sections 240.61D and 240.63. Is this being requested for the parcel or only for access to the substation site with signage on the substation site?
And this is a good example why I'm trying to be careful. So it is being asked for in order to be consistent with the zoning on the adjacent parcel 8 Shoot Flying Hill Road. The final location of signs associated with the development of the substation and the use of this parcel, to my knowledge, has not been finalized. You're certainly welcome to ask the fact witnesses, but to my knowledge, the precise location of signage has not been finalized. And I would say that it is possible that there will be signage located on 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road, given that that will be the access point to the substation site at 8 Shoot Flying Hill Road.
And I think at this point, I'll open it up to the rest of the panel. Has there been a determination regarding signage on the parcel?
I do not believe there has been any determination with regards to signage and the parcel.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to move on to the anti-nuisance provisions under section 240.10A. Are those specific to the substation site, or are they specific to the parcel, or are they mirrored access for the substation site?
So again, I do think this distinction is a little bit difficult to make because again, the access is being used to the 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road will be used to access 8 Shoot Flying Hill Road. This relief is being requested to be consistent across both parcels, which is necessary in order to use it as an access road. This relief would also be requested for the parcel itself, which will be used for access.
And we're just going to move on to the next one. The site plan review requirements under Article 9, sections 240.98 through 240.105. Again, are those specific to the parcel or mirrored access to the substation site?
So they are again being requested to have the same zoning applicable across both sites, which is necessary to use the site for access. It is also being requested to be applicable to this site. I mean, certainly all of these are being requested for consistency, but they'd be applicable across both parcels. So that the company is seeking an exemption from the site plan review process for both this parcel and 8 Shoot Flying Hill Road.
Thank you. There's only 3 additional sections that were referenced, so we'll just go through them, and then if there's any additional questions, we will follow up at that point. So the performance bond requirements in section 240.124A, are those specific to the parcel or are they mirrored access to the substation site?
So it is the same response. They're being requested to have mirrored the same zoning across both parcels. They are being requested for this site at 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road, the parcel. So the exemption would apply to the section you just referenced, which is performance bonds for the work that would occur at the parcel.
Thank you. Moving on to the occupancy permit provisions in section 240-124B. Are those specific to the parcel, or are they mirrored access to the substation site?
Again, the same response. Are being requested to mirror the zoning across both parcels. They are being requested to be applicable to this parcel at 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road, and to exempt an otherwise potentially applicable requirement for occupancy permits for 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road.
And lastly, there's a request for the off-street parking provisions in Article 6, Sections 240-48 through 240-58. I would think that this has something specific to do with the parcel. Is this specific to the parcel, or is this simply mirrored access for the substation site?
So the response is again the same in terms of the zoning relief. The zoning relief for these particular sections relating to off-street parking is being requested so that the zoning across both 8 Shoot Flying Hill Road and 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road are consistent and the same. It is also being requested such that it will be applicable to 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road, the parcel in this proceeding. So again, it's being requested for consistency. Requesting it is also requesting that it be applicable to this parcel, 6 Shoot Flying Hill Road.
Thank you. I believe that our general counsel has an additional question. Ms. Evans?
Thank you, Mr. Tar. On page 6 of the company's petition, I'll let you get there. The company indicated that Park City Wind holds an option to purchase the parcel. I'm wondering whether or not Park City Wind has completed that purchase.
Yes, Park City Wind has completed that purchase.
Okay, thank you. And a general question, Mr. Johnson or anyone else from the panel. Are there any updates to permitting activities related to the parcel that you could provide to the record here?
Not to my knowledge, Ms. Evans. I believe the project, the Park City Wind project as a total has received the vast majority of its state and regional local permitting. I don't believe there are any updates since the time of this filing.
Thank you. Did the petition provide a list of other permits that are necessary for the parcel?
I'm not certain of, would need to confer with counsel on that.
If I may, pages 25 and 26 do contain the required permits. There's a table that spans pages 25 and 26 of the zoning petition.
And are there any updates to this table on pages 25 to 26? There's no table number. The table on 25, 26. Any updates to those?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, thank you very much.
The only thing, Ms. Evans, I would like to say is there are updates to the federal permits that are listed here, which I could detail, but I'm not sure that if that was in the scope of your question.
I would be interested in updates to the federal permits, please.
Sure. So subsequently to what's in this filing, in recent months over the summer, the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, a federal agency, did issue the record of decision for the project. So essentially the federal permitting and approvals for the project have been completed.
Great, thank you. And that's it at this point in time? Okay, great. Thank you very much. Mr. Tar, thank you.
Thank you, General Counsel. Are there any additional follow-up cross-examination questions from technical staff or any members of the department at this time?
Mr. Tart, there are none from technical staff here.
I'll ask if there's any additional questions that would like to be provided to the panel from the interveners, from the intervener.
This is Tom LaRosa. I just had one question. I appreciate the walkthrough on the zoning for the signage. If the zoning exemption is granted, would someone be able to explain the process for settling upon what signage will be visible at the street line to the public? And I'm not talking about danger signs, things of that sort. We're thinking about what type of signs identifying the facility, their size, their placement, how would those be settled upon? Thank you.
Mr. LaRosa, I don't have wouldn't be able to provide you a response to that question at this time.
I would follow up with based on the company's prior agreement with the town of Barnstable, would it be fair to characterize that there would be discussion between the town of Barnstable and the company regarding signage and placement?
Certainly consistent with the provisions of the host community agreement and the side agreement that Park City Wind has with the town of Barnstable. If the town of Barnstable expressed opinions, requests for the company, certainly that's something that we would take under advisement.
I just wanted to get that out there. We would be, of course, willing to work with the project proponent on that signage. We just want to make sure that it's appropriate, as I'm sure all do. Thank you.
Are there any additional questions by anyone present here today for the panel? Seeing and hearing no response, is there any additional redirect, Mr. Lang, for any of the witnesses for you?
Thank you, hearing officer. I will also ask my colleague Zach Gerson to confirm, but I think there is not.
I think that's the case. Do we have just a couple minutes to make sure? I don't think I've ever done this before, but make sure that I didn't swallow my tongue when I was responding to your question.
As I'm not seeing any additional questions that are going to be provided to the panel today, at this time, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. We'll take a 5-minute break. We'll return. If there's any additional questions or cleanup, we'll handle it at that time, and then we can conclude the hearing. So at this time, we'll take a 5-minute break. We'll go off the record, Mr. Brock, and we'll come back on at 10:40.
Thank you.
We'll wait one more minute to make sure everyone's back. All right, Mr. Brock, we will go back on the record in 24:48 to conclude the evidentiary hearing for this morning. I'll refer back to the company. Is there any additional follow-up or redirect based on questions provided to the panel or testimony provided here today?
We don't have any redirect at this time.
Okay. I will now entertain a motion to move all the exhibits into evidence. This includes all exhibits on the draft exhibit list, any exhibits from our hearings if they were provided, and responses to record requests. Do I have a motion to move the exhibits into evidence?
So moved.
Are there any objections? No objections. Seeing no objections, I move the exhibits into evidence. We'll now discuss a record request. So we'll go off the record, but stay on the video at this time. So we're going off the record at 10:42 a.m. to discuss briefing schedules moving forward. I'd ask that all parties remain present. I have drafted a tentative schedule in this matter. As there were no record responses that were indicated or necessary, I'm not going to set any deadlines for record responses. I would propose, based on the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, that we schedule initial briefs to be due on December 3rd. That would be from the company or any briefs from the town. And then any reply briefs would be due on December 17th, 2024. Does anybody have any issues regarding the timeline or deadlines for briefs and reply briefs? Or is there any conflict or issues? I'll entertain any extensions if necessary, understanding the time of year that it is.
Don't want to do too much sausage making with everyone watching, but Aaron and Adam, are we comfortable that we can get our brief done by December 3rd, given that next week is the holiday?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I anticipate then, or I will set a due date for the initial briefs for December 3rd. If the company needs to, reach out to me and provide a written motion for any extension if necessary, and I'll entertain that based on the merits of the request at that time. And there's no issues regarding the reply brief deadline, an additional 2 weeks from the 3rd. Just want to confirm if a reply brief is necessary.
That deadline seems all right, if reply briefs are necessary.
Okay. Are there any other matters off the record that anyone would like to address or handle before we go back on the record and put the final schedule on the record? All right, seeing here no response. Mr. Brock, at this time, we will go back on the record in D.P.U. 2448. There was an off-record discussion regarding the briefing schedule in this matter. As there are no record responses due based on the evidentiary hearing, there will be no due date for record responses. Initial briefs are scheduled to be sent into the department by December 3rd, 2024. Additionally, if reply briefs are necessary, those reply briefs will be due to the department by December 17th, 2024. If there are no additional matters, are there any additional matters that need to be discussed on the record at this time?
None from the petitioner's perspective.
Any additional matters from the intervener?
None, thank you.
All right. As there are no additional matters to be discussed on the record at this time, we'll go off the record. I look forward to reading the briefs, and if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me. And again, if there's any need or request for additional time, please put it in writing and provide it to me, and I'll rule on it based on the merits as provided at that time. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone
Thank you very much.
this matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.